Did you ever try to do something very simple, really basic, but at the end of the day, you discovered that it was a big deal and somehow revolutionary? I did. Imagine with me that you are in a bakery shop in a very snowy and cold day in Palestine, not Pakistan, Palestine. And I arrived to be the last one in a queue, which was, unsurprisingly, consisted only of men. I was standing there, and all of a sudden, an old man came, and he was shouting while addressing the men and telling them, "Don't you have respect? Shame on you. How come you let the girl to be the last one in the queue? Let her pass first." And everyone was confused and embarrassed and looking at me at the same time. And I saw it in their eyes. They were somehow cursing the father who let his daughter to go out in such a snowy day to maybe get stuck here in this bakery among men. And at the same time, they were questioning, doesn't she have a brother, a cousin, a relative, even a male neighbor? Shame on her and on her family. Then I decided to speak. I told him, but I want to respect the queue, and I want to wait for my turn. And suddenly, all of the eyes which were looking at me while being full of embarrassment started to look at me while being full of blame and disgust. And then the same old man, he said, "The end of world is approaching," which is a translation that means that look at this girl who's trying to put herself in the men's shoes. You know, I decided to learn how to ride a bike only 1 year ago. I never had one, I never asked to have one. And in fact, it's a boys' thing in Palestine. But I bought one to our garden, and after 1 month, I became an expert. And I decided to go outside of the borders of our garden. I went to our town, and it was the first time of my life someone confront me in the eye and tell me, okay, I will say it, they told me bitch. And the thing that made that day even worse, that I heard that call, that word from other 4 men. I went home, I was really sad, I was depressed. But at the second day, I decided to try again. It was even worse, much worse words. And when I went home, I was also sad and depressed. And at the same time, they made me feel that I brought shame to our family name. Do you know what I did on the 3rd day? I took my headphones. I walked with my bicycle. I was really confident. I just, concentrated on the landscape. And that's it. I went home. I was happy. I was content. I was proud of myself. After 1 month of self-training, I was on my bicycle in my town without any serious injuries. And every day that I was going to our house telling my father about this stuff, he was telling me about the stereotype, the fact that, the girls do not do this thing here, because they always tell them that the girls, if she go out on the bicycle, it's something not from our culture, it is something that just to show her body, it's a boys thing just to imitate boys. And he was supporting me. Actually, I did not explain it well. It was not me, the one who bought the bike, it was him who bought it for me. Palestinian society is complex indeed. I don't like to use the word underdeveloped. It's just complex. It's a cocktail of religions, traditions, ethics, families, and everything. And those, concepts are interrelated in an implicit and explicit way. Let's take the things from the beginning. I come from a big family. In fact, this is not moving. Yeah. I have 7 sisters. And this is not something favorable, not in terms of number, but in terms of gender. And this makes us, 9 females in one house, and my father, the poor father. So, in fact, also this number can tell you another thing that about my father and my mother attempts to have a male member in the family. My mother told me that whenever she was going to the doctor to check the gender of the baby, she was having these two reactions. Either she was blaming because it's your fault, it's a female, or they were telling her, don't worry, next time will be the male, inshallah, you have to try again. And I don't know if it is fortunately or unfortunately that it took them 8 attempts, without counting the miscarriages, to be convinced that we will not make the society to stress us anymore. And we will not have that male member anymore. In fact, now, if you can see this picture, 3 of them, of those girls, have PhD, and the others, they have their masters. And actually, everyone found her own path and her own career. During my last visit to Palestine, we had this family gathering, the sisters, the husbands of the sisters, the nieces, the nephews, the mothers-in-law, I don't know why, and everyone. And I was looking at my father, and I saw that tear in the corner of his eye. And I was curious at the same time. I went to him and I asked him, Dad, what if we were all boys, maybe as you wished? He told me, then Alaa, maybe no one will be around me. I raised 8 strong girls that can stand for their own rights while being full of confidence. But it's quite inspiring that I have such a father, I have such an understanding family. But it's not the case. It's not the case for all families in Palestine. In fact, a lot of girls, they are banned to go to schools, they are banned to go to university, and sometimes they are banned to go to the streets alone without her brother. And in fact, in the worst cases, they are banned to be alive, such as honor killing. The girl, sometimes she feels that she's in a transition period in her family house. She's just a guest, and she has to be customized to go to the husband's house. Because of that, a lot of girls, whenever she asks a question to her mother, Mom, can I go out with my friend to the shopping mall? Her mother will say to her, of course not, until you get married. What if your future husband found out that you went alone with your friend? No. She can go and ask, Mom, can I go to a trip with my friend, which is a girl, of course? The mother will say, of course not, until you get married. What if your future husband found out that you went alone with your friend? And sometimes it can be a very silly question, like, Mom, can I cut my hair? She will say, of course not. What if your future husband likes the long hair until you get married? And that's it. The girl she feels that she only customized for this Prince Charming, the anonymous one. And she has to fulfill a certain criteria. Let me tell you about this criteria. She has to be thin, tall, long hair, beautiful in general. And she has to have the ability to have endless number of children. She has to be educated to teach the children, but not to have any ambition to go to work. And she has to cook as his mother style. She has to love his mother, his sisters, his aunties, his neighbors, anyone he loves. She has to obey the rules all the time. And she has always to be ready to have something. She has always to be ready to have durra. Durra, my friend, it means the second wife. So, if you want to have a happily ever after life without having anyone sharing this life with you, it's better to stick up to that criteria and to stay thin all the time. And so you will not have this durra. And the surprising thing that you go to the other side, to the man's side, and you see, okay, what's the criteria that is, for the man's side? It's only consisted of 2 things, 2 points. First of all, he has to have a birth certificate, an ID, that certifies that he's a man. And actually nowadays it's enough to write that on Facebook. And the other thing, that he has to have, a little bit of money so he can do that decent wedding. And that's it, the marriage can happen. And the fact that a lot of girls, they accept that, I can understand. But when I go to my friends, the friends who were with me in the college, and I find out that a lot of them, they accept to have such kind of marriage, I start to question why. Why? You have your dream, you have a future plan, you told me about that. But she will answer that she is afraid to be labeled as Anes. Before I tell you the meaning of the Anes, I just want you to try to say it. Anes, it's just an ugly word, I don't like it. So Anes means the unmarried girl. And most precisely, it's the unmarried girl who is above 30 years old. And why a lot of girls, they are afraid of being honest? Because it mainly means two things. Either that you are ugly, so no one accepted you as a wife, or you lack the sufficient ethics and morals, so no one accepted you as a decent wife. So because of that, a lot of girls, they are just running away of such a concept. They don't want such a concept. So what they do? They accept to enter the marriage market. They simply accept to be a watermelon. You can find such a kiosks in Palestine in summer, on the streets. And actually, the summer is also the wedding season. And anyone can go to such a kiosk and to pick a watermelon just because of the appearance of the watermelon and because it promises a good taste. And that's it. And this is how such a marriage happens. They don't know each other. No matter if she's happy, no matter if he's also happy. It's just about not being honest. I was a watermelon once. I will tell you the story. A strange man, he heard about me. He came to our house, and with his family, and he wanted to compare what he heard with the reality. And when he came to our house, I went there, and of course it was an arrangement, and my family convinced me, and we don't want to get embarrassed. We told the people to come, and society, blah, blah, blah. I went there and I started shaking hands, and when I wanted to shake hands with him, he did like this, because he doesn't shake hands, because he is conservative. But at the same time, I saw him, he was checking every inch of my body to check his watermelon, if it's a good one or not. And then we were speaking, and then he asked my father to go to another room so we can get to know each other more. And I saw the look on my father's eyes. He wanted to kill him, but he said, okay. We went to the other room, and he started to do a presentation about himself, about his work, about his education, and then he started about his expectations from me. And I stopped him. I told him, I'm not the one you're looking for. I have future plans. I want to continue my education. And I'm not that kind of person that you tell me what to wear or what to do. I'm sorry. And then when they went out of our house, I told my father that I really felt bad. And he told me, let the society go to hell. We will not care about society anymore. My daughters are not for sale. And it was the last time in our family history that happened. And in fact, I decided that day to be Alaa for Alaa. Alaa, not Allah, my name. To be Alaa for Alaa, and not Alaa for the others. And actually, a lot of Palestinian girls, they are doing that right now. They are sick of being ghosts. They are sick of being behind the scenes. They are sick of being watermelons. They just want to be pioneer. They just want to fulfill their own dreams. They just want to get rid of the chains of the society that gave us by heritage. Once Jean-Paul Sartre said, hell is other people. And I can't agree with any other definition about hell or people. You know, I stand here and I challenge a lot of things. I challenge society, I challenge traditions, and most importantly, I challenge whatever that will be said about me or whatever I will be labeled when I will go to Palestine. A 27 years old girl, which makes me almost honest, who was living alone 1 year abroad without any one of her family member. But I don't care, because I intend to raise awareness among other girls, to go out and to go out from their comfort zone, to just fulfill their dreams, the things that they wanted to do. And I stand here and I have a very important declaration to do. It's a decision that I took years ago, but I keep reminding myself of. I stand here before you and I declare that I am not a watermelon, and I will not be. And I encourage everyone here, males and females, to decide for your own, to not let any stereotype control your life, to just simply challenge the impossible. It all begins with you, not with the others. Thank you.